The long and turbulent history of integration begins in the 1950s. The 1954 case of Brown versus Board of Ed... Excuse me? I see. Excuse me. Oh, let's start again. The long and turbulent history of integration can be traced back to ancient Greece. During this time, Greek mathematicians decided the separate but equal doctrine was no longer applicable. This doctrine had been... Excuse me? Pardon me. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll get it this time. The long and turbulent history of integration begins in ancient Greece. Greek mathematicians are often credited with advances in geometry, but these advances can also be traced to calculus. For example, if you find the area of a triangle, it could be said that you are actually finding an integral. But what of curves? Oh, excuse me, who put that picture in there? The Greek mathematician Democritus was the first to consider dividing something into an infinite number of parts, a concept upon which modern calculus relies heavily.
An integral is the area under a curve, like a curve. I'll show you. Area under the curve. The integral is also an antiderivative, or moving up from a derivative to the original equations. If you have y prime and you antiderive, which is the same as finding the integral, you move up and you get y for the original equation. There are indefinite integrals, which are written thus. There are also definite integrals, which are written thus, with bounds from a to b. When you are evaluating an indefinite integral, it is always necessary to add a plus c to your final answer. So if this were the integral of a, the answer would be a to the n plus 1 divided by n plus 1 plus c.
Significant advances in calculus were made during the Age of Enlightenment. Sir Isaac Newton and Gottfried Leibniz independently established the bases of modern calculus. These calculus bases were located where they could be fortified against a frontal assault by the Church. Through their research into infinitesimal calculus, they were able to discover the fundamental theorem of calculus.
It was just so bummer. Wow, just a real bummer, man. Not groovy. Just a bummer. Those guys needed to turn on, tune in, and drop out, man. We wouldn't have had a bummer if it was for that, man. You know, no bummer. I told you not to come here. Why are you doing that? You're following me around. The fundamental theorem of calculus shows that integration will reverse differentiation. It will give us the following statements. The first, the integral from a to b of f of x dx equals f of b minus f of a.
Help.
Shut up. The second theorem, deriving the integral of from a to x of f of t dt, shut up, I can't concentrate, will give you f of x by simply substituting the x into the original equation.
Help me, please.